And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken. Tyler, it is Money in the Bank weekend. Heatwave aired today. What a week of pro wrestling. How you doing?
I'm maxed out, Brad. In the best ways. We knew heading into this weekend it was going to be busy, it was going to be jam-packed. I say this all the time, but I got to mention it right off rip. We have so much to get into.
Yes.
In wrestling, in pop culture, maybe in our own lives. I know we have a few. I know you have a promo, and then I have a show that's returning that I'm really excited about. We're gonna get to all that. I am well. I am so happy to see you in your illustrious Hurt Business tee.
Yes.
Shout out to our YouTube viewers. You're rocking the Hurt Business tee, man. I'm so happy to see you. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I saw that the Hurt Business isn't coming back, that it wasn't successful, that all of these things. And all I could think is, was I the only one who thought it was incredible? I know you loved it. Was it just us? I really don't understand where this idea came from, that it's not any good. It's crazy. We were all so upset when they broke them up. And then we were all really hopeful when they brought it back, but it sucked because they brought it back and then changed everything about it. And it didn't make any sense.
It was like a lot of sequels, right? Like a lot of movies. They just didn't capture the same magic as the first. Exactly.
No, it's why change the thing? It worked. It was working. I'm still upset about it, man, but I love this tee. I'm glad I could dust it off. Literally dust it off and bust it out the closet for today. I felt appropriate. Not a lot of my wrestling t-shirts are in good shape these days because I've washed them more than once. So they're all fading and falling apart. Every single one of them, they're all smaller than they were. There's cracks, there's chipped paint. Do better, wrestling shirts. Do better.
And you were even mentioning that's hilarious. Number one, you were mentioning and heartbreaking. You were mentioning graphic tees.
Yes.
And you've reached a stage in your life where graphic tees should no longer be in your closet. Is that true, Brad Winchester?
I don't want to get rid of them entirely, but I think at 42, you should probably not be wearing graphic tees. This goes back to the same conversation we had probably a year ago, 2 years ago, about wearing backward ball caps.
Yeah, I know you saw Cody Rhodes do that on the WrestleMania XL. I thought of you. We have not talked about this until right now.
How did you feel about it? Because I know you feel a way about it too.
Yeah, I kind of loved it. Cody can pull it off.
Wow.
He was at the head of his table. He knew he was about to have the biggest win of his career. I wouldn't do it. It's not a fashion choice I would make at this stage in my life at season 31. But for him, I wasn't mad at all.
Do you think that in wrestling is wearing a backwards hat in 2024 a heel move? Because I go back to John Cena wearing hats, and when they're forward, he's a good guy.
He's retiring, by the way.
Yes,
so that's
he is.
something we need to discuss.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yes, he
It
is.
is a heel. I attribute it with being a heel. Yeah, Cody Rhodes. Well, Cody Rhodes is obviously not a heel, but I think of like Tony Romo and other people who are good heels. They're good at their job, but I consider them heel adjacent at least. I mean, he played for the Cowboys. Like, come on.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel. I still don't know how I feel about the backward hat thing. I think there's a time and a place, and that time is before you're 30, and the place is I don't care. Keep it off your head. That's my opinion. I mean, what are we doing? I guess like what else are you wearing is important. You know, if you're wearing the backward ball cap and a suit, what's going on there?
That's not gonna mash. That's not gonna match. That's not gonna mesh. It's not gonna do any of these things.
But if you're wearing some khaki shorts and some boat shoes and a pink polo and a backward hat, I'm gonna push you into the sea.
I didn't know where you were going with that. Okay. It also depends on context. Where are you when you're wearing this? Is this a mall trip? Is it to play catch with
Oh,
your
is
niece?
it rally cap time at the ball game because your team is
Right.
down?
Is it for a very specific moment or period, and then you're gonna turn that thing
Or is it
back
functional?
around as you
Like I've
yeah,
turned it back around. I've definitely done it. If
for
I'm on like
functional,
a yeah, if I'm out on my bike or something,
of course.
back in the day when I wouldn't wear a helmet, if I was on my bike or something, I'd put it backwards because it was going to fly off otherwise. So it was more of an aerodynamic thing. Or if it's
Totally.
just really damn windy out, or if
Yeah,
I'm in the backyard and I wanted something over my head, but I also got to wear sunglasses because it's Arizona and
yeah.
you'll die without them.
Right. If you're challenged to a game of horse, you
Hell
can
yes.
shoot. I find it difficult to shoot a basketball when you have the lid the correct way, but you
No,
got to
because
spin
if
that
you're
thing
going to bring it
around if
up
you
here,
want
you're
to.
going to hit your no,
You
absolutely not.
are. It's not just me. Yeah.
You got to go full white man can't jump. You
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
the
Shout
giant
out to
hats
Woody.
backwards. Woody Harrelson, yes.
Man, so this is clearly going to be a conversation that is going to be maybe an annual or biannual GI tradition. Dare I say? This is much more nuanced than I originally gave it credit.
No, maybe we have a rules day. Maybe we set GI's rules for etiquette, for wearing hats, for wearing graphic tees, um, age cutoffs, certain things, things that I wish applied to the presidency and the State of the Union. But Tyler, there are more states than just for the union. It's time to get into the state of 19 media groups. So play the music.
Late breaking news from the world of 19 media.
Nothing says happy birthday America like reckless fireworks, bizarre traditions, and a healthy dose of local craziness. Jessica and Carmen are back with a special July 4th themed edition of Small Town USA. Check it out. You can follow them at Small Town USA Show. Show is spelled SHW on X.
Check out Hidden Gems Golf, 19's official fantasy golf-based podcast. The Mojo King provides picks and analysis like no one else can. You can follow him at APowerMojo.
Desmond continues his greatness on Hip to the Games, a show dedicated to the love of hip-hop and hoops. He dropped an episode on Friday breaking down Juicy, the classic track from the notorious B.I.G. Tune in for the creativity and thorough insight that Dez is known for. You can follow him at Hip to the Games.
Ricky discussed LA's hiring of JJ Redick. What a roller coaster that's been. On the latest Late Night Lake Show installment, you know he has you covered with the latest headlines from Tinseltown. You can follow him at Late Night Lakers.
Sticking with the association, you know Warren and Cal of the Baseline NBA podcast have you covered this offseason. Check out their latest episode to hear their thoughts on DeMar DeRozan heading to Sacramento, what's next for the Warriors, and more. You can follow them at NBA Baseline.
I can't wait to find out what's more covered this year. Bronny's play or LeBron's reactions to Bronny's play?
The latter.
Yeah, that's I think as well. Speaking of Warren, he continues to do great work at Dope Interviews. He welcomed artist Justin Bua on the latest episode. Tune in and follow the show at dope_interviews.
We are thrilled to have Sirius XMs. That always trips me up. We're going to run that back. We are thrilled, still very excited, to have Sirius XM's Gerald Brown on the 19 roster. Much better. Check out his weekly show, Heavy in the Paint. He welcomed Dennis Hobson, former lottery pick and NBA champion, for a great conversation about Hobson's career, the NBA postseason, and more. You can follow Gerald at GeraldBLSS.
If your last name is Hobson, you have to play basketball. It's written in the stars. Finally, you know we love Mike Steff. Mike co-hosts Hidden Gems Football with Mo during the NFL season. But that's not all. Check out his weekly show, The Salty Thoughts of Mike Steff, for passionate commentary on the latest in sports, professional wrestling, and political news. You can follow him at Mike Steffens_, and that's Steffens PH.
Well said. My friend, we have WWE to discuss. We teased this at the beginning of the episode. One of the biggest weekends in the calendar year for the biggest wrestling company in the world. We're going to get into it. Are you ready for my question?
I'm ready.
It is here on my notes, if I can find them. It's really straightforward, Brad. You're actually probably going to be pleasantly surprised by this. We had SummerSlam on Saturday night. We just watched NXT Heatwave earlier. Lots of matches, lots to be excited for. Some moments that weren't as awesome as expected, but nonetheless, my question for you, all the exposition aside, which match won the weekend?
Money in the Bank, not SummerSlam, but
Money in the Bank. Oh my god!
Money in the Bank.
Look at me getting ahead of myself, wanting Roman Reigns to be back already. Money in the Bank.
I was going to say I feel like that might have been a Freudian slip to talk about how much the ending of Money in the Bank is going to stay with you in a not good way.
Correct.
For a while.
Correct.
Now, which one stole?
Yeah. Which match won the weekend for you? For Brad
know.
Winchester specifically.
I don't know. I don't know that I have a specific match in mind because there were so many moments in a lot of the matches. I know some that didn't steal for me at all, but if we're just talking match, man, I don't know. Money in the Bank was just messy. It was a messy show. It was a lot of fun. Messes aside, damn it, I love the women's Money in the Bank match. I loved it. I'm going to say it's that one just because Chelsea Green, man. Chelsea Green. Good Lord. That might have been the prettiest, scariest bump I've seen in a women's ladder match like that. It was probably the perfect table bump. She fell, kind of perfect trajectory, held her head, landed perfectly. Zoe Stark damn near killed herself on a ladder. We had bodies flying everywhere, stuff that looked like, oh, maybe that wasn't the way that was supposed to go. And you know what happened? They kept going, which was awesome. It's exactly what I wanted. It happened in the men's matches as well. There were some funky spots in the nights, but these are live performances with people, and we always have to take that into account. Not everything's going to go perfectly every time, and they still put their bodies on the line to entertain us, and I thought it was amazing. So I really liked Heatwave. I actually thought Heatwave was a better event than Money in the Bank overall, and I don't really watch NXT all that closely, so that's really saying something from a wrestling standpoint anyway. I loved it, and I still want to go back to that women's Money in the Bank ladder match. I just think it was just so good that it's hard for me to deny it. So I'm going to say that, even though I really like the North American title match tonight, I got to go back to the women's ladder match.
Wow, that's a great transition for me. I am absolutely picking the aforementioned NXT North American women's title match. I was not in any way prepared for this match to be as amazing as it was.
It was incredible.
Shout out to Kelani Jordan. Shout out to Sol Ruca.
I told you, man. Like I told, she's the one for me. Sol Ruca is the one.
She's the next champ for sure.
Yeah.
There's no.
Yeah.
You deserve to get your flowers for that. So I've been wondering what a Kelani Jordan title reign was going to look like. Obviously, she's new. Like a lot of the performers we see on NXT, she's relatively new to wrestling. Obviously, taken to it great. But what was this going to look like when you give her the belt and have her be this inaugural champ? I'm so happy that she's the one to get this title, man. So this was a star-making performance for both women.
100%.
And based on what I've seen from the timeline, Brad, this goes back to your earlier point. We are not the only two people that loved the Hurt Business, and we definitely weren't the only two people that loved Jordan versus Ruca.
Yeah.
Their styles, we hear this all the time, to the point where it's kind of a cliche. Styles make fights. Their styles were perfect. I feel like this had to be the plan for a while, right? Let's have Kelani win the ladder match to become champion. And who's the first opponent going to be? Sol Ruca. Insane chemistry. Their
Unbelievable.
gymnastics backgrounds, right? Michigan State, Oregon. They mentioned it on commentary. It just fits so perfectly. This match wasn't on my radar whatsoever. Right, I'm getting chills. I'm getting the mana thinking about this match. I need to run that back. I think it was the second match on the card. Yeah, I'm literally getting. I know it's not because it's cold in Arizona.
No,
I'm getting chills
no.
thinking about how much I love this
Heat
match.
stroke, maybe. Yeah.
I sure hope. Shout out again to both ladies here. This match was fantastic, and I'm so pumped to see what's next for Kelani Jordan as North American champ. Maybe they're going to run it back based on the strength of this. But I'm excited to see what's next for her. And like you said, Sol Ruca, clearly a star as well. Big things ahead for her, wherever that may be. This match, I can't stop thinking about this match, Brad. The Fatal 4-Way main event, Ethan Page becoming champ, that was also a blast. Lots to like on this card. The women tore it up on the Money in the Bank ladder match, as you mentioned. But for me, the two ladies, Sol Ruca and Kelani Jordan, I've said their name probably like 8 times now. They absolutely won the weekend for me. Bravo.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I just wanted to give love to that. I feel like the timeline has been unnecessarily critical of those things. Yeah, they didn't go perfectly. Yes, there were a lot of quote botches, or we could call them like, I don't know, performance things. I don't know what the word is. Shit happens out there, man. You're going 150 miles an hour. Did you miss a low blow? Yeah. Did you come back again and punch your brother in the face? Yeah. Or cousin or whatever it is. I don't know what the relationships are between any of these people, man. There's too many of them. I can't keep track of it. I need that big ass family tree back up in the background.
Just from the
bloodline,
the Heist conference. Yeah.
Yes. Just I need it in the background for all events that the bloodline are in, so I can keep track of this.
Gosh, for
like
real.
So many people.
I
keep going like, oh yeah, that's Umaga's kid. It's like, oh wait, no, that's Sam's kid. Umaga's kid isn't there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Haku's kid, and there's wait, is this person even? No, he's not even Samoan. And that I can't keep track of all these people, man. There's so many people there.
Listen, man, it's a lot. I don't blame you at all. I can't wait for your question, Brad, but I'm going to attempt to sneak in one more for you. And that is, are you ready to elevate your fantasy sports experience with Prize Picks? I sure hope you are, because you can win up to 100 times your money during the women's basketball season. Imagine turning a $10 entry into a whopping 1,000. If you're looking for promotions, Prize Picks has got you covered every single week, from lowering select players' stats projections on Tuesdays to help your lineup, or even getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. You already know women's basketball is on fire with stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, who are killing it right now. They're looking to make names for themselves alongside the greats like Breanna Stewart and Asia Wilson. You could win up to 100 times your cash watching them ball out. Download the Prize Pick apps today and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code CLNS on Prize Picks for a deposit match up to $100. You know the vibes. Pick more, pick less. Is that easy?
So Tyler, there were a lot of great moments this weekend. There were a lot of people that got to show out, and it was a lot of fun. We'll get into AEW later on because there's a lot of good moments from AEW this week as well. But WWE had 2 PLEs, two big ones in what do they call it? We Are the North, up in Canada. And I have a pretty simple question for you for this one, because there were a lot of people who were not present for Money in the Bank or Heatwave. Coming out of this weekend, who was absent from the weekend who needs a big week this week coming out of Money in the Bank?
Wow. Okay, so SmackDown doesn't count. If they were on SmackDown, but not on Money in the Bank.
I'm just saying if they were not Saturday or Sunday and we're heading into this week.
Yeah, I got you. so so many candidates.
Bailey for
Yeah.
example.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, Bailey, Liv Morgan. Where are the champs? I'm thinking of Jade, thinking of Bianca, but I got to go with Montez Ford. His performance on Friday reminded folks of the conversations you and I were having 3 years ago, 2 years ago at this point, when he got super jacked and we were like, oh, snap, the Montez Ford singles push that we've all been waiting for is on the way. And then it never really came to fruition. If memory serves, he was in an Elimination Chamber match. He obviously didn't win, but that was his kind of major solo outing. But then it kind
Dawkins
of fell
was hurt, right?
I think Dawkins was hurt. Yeah. But I saw a lot of love for Montez Ford leaving SmackDown. I think he just reminded people that he is phenomenal, as is his partner, Angelo Dawkins. But for me, I really want to see Montez have a big week. I think it's imperative. The Street Profits are a great tag team, but we saw DIY just became champs. I don't know if we would get a Street Profits versus DIY feud. I don't think that's the way they're going right out the chute, which leads me to pick Montez for your question. He is overdue for a singles run.
I love that DIY got the big moment, and I love that it was on SmackDown. I kind of wish it was on the event itself instead of the night before the event. I know they can't fit everybody on these PLEs. They're not AEW. They're not going to cram 400 matches on one card, but I wish they would have had a bigger spot. It gives a reason for us plebes on the West Coast to tune in because we already know what the results are at that point. But it bothered me a little bit. I'm gonna go with the most obvious answer here. I agree with you and everything you said. Great points. I thought for sure last night when Gable was by himself that the lights were gonna go out.
Me too.
For sure. Why commit that homicide and then not come back to it?
How is Gable still alive?
I don't know because it wasn't
functioning.
Because Mello was taken out in that initial preview, correct? Wasn't he one of the people that was on the floor?
I believe so. Yeah,
we couldn't really tell because he was face down, but it looked like his hair.
Right.
And he wasn't wearing a shirt, so I mean, that tracks. But it was, very clearly we saw Gable's face bloodied and beaten and unconscious and all this stuff. And we've been getting vignettes, which I appreciate the slow burn on this. I think it's good. But I thought for sure we'd have the lights go out and then we'd see Gable massacred again. And then somebody else would grab the briefcase. That somebody else ended up being Drew, who is now suspended, according to Adam Pearce's social media post. Suspended indefinitely because he, quote, put his elbow in his teeth, I think is what he said. And yes, no Drew. I'm sure he'll be there to beat up Punk in an alley again. But we'll see what happens. I was a little surprised that all of our champions were missing, women specifically. And it was a little bit egregious to me. I also, I kind of hated the no stakes kind of Monday Night Raw main event we got with the Bloodline and all of the babyface stars on a team. I know what it was for, but I would have rather have seen DIY win on that show. That could have been a spot for them to have their big moment in a huge space. Because I wasn't really all that invested in this match because it's like, well, if they win, nothing happens. If they lose, nothing happens. They just lose or they win and nobody cares. So, and that's the main event. To have that happen and then no payoff afterward, because let's face it, when you look at that on paper, you think, oh, they're going to do something big with this after or during, and then nothing happened. So I don't really know what happened there, but it felt like a big letdown. So I could also say the thing that I'm hoping for this week that needs a big week is whatever was absent from that match happening with the Bloodline this week. I can see maybe they pick up, maybe this is when one of the other family members shows up, or maybe this is when Paul comes back with a message from Roman or something, right? Like something's got to happen here. But I kind of trust Triple H to give us good stuff this week. It's Raw and SmackDown have been good, so I'm really looking forward to it.
Isn't it kind of wild that NXT Heatwave gave us a more scrumptious end to the show than, I was going to say SummerSlam again, than Money in the Bank did? You and I were in different threads and conversations and DMs, booking ourselves, working ourselves into a shoot that Roman was going to appear in Toronto. It's like, oh, this is going on last. It's a done deal. What's going to happen? Something big. And then nothing happened.
Yep.
NXT Heatwave, along with being a really strong card and having my favorite match of the weekend, it ended with Ethan Page shockingly becoming champ and Joe Hendry, his face quickly appearing, teasing that his time in NXT is not done. It's wild to me that NXT gave us that moment to feast on following the main event, but Money in the Bank did not. I still believe, Brad, I have to believe that Roman is coming back in Cleveland at the biggest party of the summer. How that happens, though, I agree with you. I have to believe that Triple H and company have this figured out. It's not only the biggest story in WWE, it's unequivocally the biggest story in all of wrestling. They got to have a game plan in terms of how this is going to be delivered. I'm of the mindset, like a lot of the WWE universe, that Solo versus Cody is where we're heading. I just don't know if Cody beats Solo. Presumably, I think that's what has to happen. Roman would then come out to do what exactly? Maybe we see him this week, Brad. Maybe Roman appears on SmackDown. I don't know, but I think, as you've pointed out for weeks, him coming back at SummerSlam is the move, in my opinion, not to wrestle, but to make his first appearance. I just don't know how we get there, because I'm still shocked that we didn't see it to conclude Money in the Bank. But when it happens, it's going to be great. And it does make sense to continue to build the anticipation as fans in arenas across the globe will continue to chant, "We want Roman."
When did he come back?
Roman?
Yeah.
What? Like when he came back for his run as head of the table? It was definitely at SummerSlam 2020.
August 23rd, 2020.
You'll never see it coming was the tagline.
Yes. So I feel like
it's poetic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like it will be for a match. I don't
make more sense at this point, right?
I don't think he'll show his face until then. Live anyway.
You don't think Solo is beating Cody, correct? No, if that is the match.
No chance.
There's no chance. Yeah, there's no chance. I don't see that being a main event of a Big Four pay-per-view. No disrespect to the new Tribal Chief, but
I do not acknowledge him. I think if they do that, it would make sense. I guess it would be fine.
It'd just pin Cody.
Because like
it should be the move, but
Cody's the face of the company right now, but I don't know that he needs the belt to be the face of the company. Right? Like, what's the best way to establish a babyface Roman? What's the best way to get thermonuclear heat on Solo? Nobody wants him to be champion. Not a soul wants him to be champion.
Wow.
We all know he could be champion. He could kill everybody if he wanted to, right? Like,
I think he's the number one contender.
Yeah, and if he wins, because he pinned Cody in this match, he goes out and there's bloodline tomfoolery and he pins him, and they put the little red chili peppers around his neck and he holds up the thing and I'm the tribal chief and I'm the champion, and then the music hits.
That would make more sense for a Roman return.
Yes.
Maybe Solo is winning this.
Yeah, I don't think anybody believes that'll happen.
No,
right?
I don't think Cody's losing until Mania. No.
No.
But it's fun. It's fun for podcasting purposes.
But I feel if I were booking it, I would have him lose, because that would give Cody something to do again. Because like right now, what he's doing is tagging with 3 other baby faces in a main event for no reason.
And we know Randy's coming for Cody as well. We've been
he's been eyeballing
that side eye. He's got that lust in his eyes, Brad. We know.
But that can only happen if Cody still has the belt. So maybe that gives him something to do along the way to SummerSlam.
I think that's the bad blood match. Randy versus Cody.
Yeah, and then we don't have that I got what's the not like a lackluster weight or anything like that, or maybe they make it a triple threat and then Solo spikes Randy and Randy eats the pin. Who knows? And then you have Solo and Roman at SummerSlam. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do, man. The reason that we're trying to figure this out and talking through it together, commiserating together right now is because they have us. They have us.
Can we just make Sol Ruca the champ? Can we insert her?
100%.
Or Kelani Jordan? Can we get her into the SummerSlam card?
I'd buy it if it was Sol Ruca.
Yeah.
I'd be able to sign.
The roster is just incredible, man. I'm just thinking back to your question in conclusion here. I went Montez, but I love your pick of the Wyatt Six because we haven't, prior to your question, we hadn't talked about them at all. And they were the cover art for our pod. They were the talk of the WWE Universe just a couple weeks ago with that absolutely baller introduction. So yeah, it's pivotal, man. They're gonna do something on Raw this week, but it's got to be massive and hopefully it's definitely a slow burn, to use your phrase. I just hope it continues to move the story forward, and we have to slow burn a lot right now. We have to anticipate a lot. That I would like to see some major story progression for them. And are they going to come for Chad Gable? Are they not? You know, what's the deal here?
Well, we had the Fiend debut at SummerSlam, correct? Finn Balor, Fiend.
That was also a SummerSlam debut. Yes, it was.
I just looked it up. His first Firefly Funhouse was in April of 2019, April. And
5 years ago.
Yes, but April to
August. Yeah, I remember that. Destroyed Finn.
So I can see them doing these vignettes all the way up until SummerSlam, where that's when they finally make their impact.
Yeah. Yeah, it's only 4 weeks away.
Because we've gotten 2 Bo vignettes backstage, but we haven't really learned about any of the other folks that are in the Wyatt Six. We still don't know if Alexa's in these plans. We don't really know anything at this point, which is why it's still compelling. I like that they're kind of peeling it back slowly. Hell, maybe they wait until Extreme Rules to do anything, and hopefully give us something cinematic and not some bullshit Mountain Dew match. Tyler, I'm all heated up now, and it's probably a good time to transition out of this.
It's the perfect time.
It's time. We have not done one of these in a minute. So let's play the music for promo of the week.
And now, the promo of the week.
Oh, Tyler, I sent you a message a while ago. It was this week's at some point. I went to get the mail, man. Not the mailman, but the mail, man. And I was walking out with Freya. And this old guy, this old man who likes to ride his little bicycle on the sidewalk was riding on, mind you, on the, what's the correct side of the road to ride with a bicycle, Tyler? Do you know this?
I don't know if I do. The right side?
The right side.
Okay, very.
Vehicles ride on a right side. A bicycle is a vehicle.
Very good. Okay.
It's not necessarily a motorized vehicle, but
I knew
yes.
This. I was confident.
You're a good man. You're a good man. This guy riding on the left side on the sidewalk.
That's a no.
I had to because Freya was just going up to the sidewalk to walk, 7 years old, looking down, looking at daisies and shit. Doesn't look up to see this old man huffing and puffing on the wrong side of the road on the sidewalk. I had to grab her and pull her back. He's like, hello. It's like, get man. So I went and got the mail, and then I brought her back, and he's already making his round back. I had to do a Dollar General run. I don't remember what it was. Well, white trash snack run. So got in the car, backed it out, went to Dollar General, got my stuff, got back, and I'm about to turn into the driveway. And what do I got to do? I got to wait for this guy because now he's coming toward me, titties out, no shirt on now, just flapping in the breeze. 70, 80 pounds overweight, just like a used car blow up doll, like Bailey buddies.
Not a Bailey buddy.
On a bicycle, smiling away. And I'm like, you are on the sidewalk, not the side ride, not the side bike, the sidewalk, jackass. You're old enough to be A, wearing a shirt, and B, on the right side of the road, going the right direction. Tyler, the next time I see somebody riding the wrong way and on the sidewalk, I'm going to pretend I didn't see him. I'm going into my driveway, and if there's a new speed bump installed there, so be it. Because I will not be at fault. I'm sick of these assholes going where they're not supposed to go. I ride a bike. I like riding bikes. There's a bike lane. You stay in the bike lane. You don't ride on the line on the bike lane. You get in the bike lane and stay there. Bikers need to be respected on the road, and bikers need to respect the road. I'm tired of it. 90% of these MFs are it's their fault, I feel, at this point, because I see stuff like this all the time, and I'm just going to start hitting them, Tyler. I'm just going to start hitting them. If you see me in the news, it's not going to be because of something major. It's not going to be because, like, oh, he stood up for his rights. No. It's going to be angry homeowner runs down old person on bike for biking on the sidewalk is what the headline is going to read. And I feel like the judge is going to see me and go, yeah, you're right. This was his fault. Scrape him off the sidewalk and go about your day. And that'll be the end of it, Tyler.
Are you sure it's not going to be because you started a fire from the papers you wanted to shred, but you overheated your shredder? So you're going to throw them in the backyard fire, but then the fire got out of control because it's windy.
So windy.
It's a no burn day.
It was so windy. There were ashes going everywhere. I was like, this is it. This is it. And you know whose idea this was? This was not my idea.
I'm not even going to say. I'm not going to get myself in trouble. I know the answer this time, but I'm not going
to. If just a reminder, we talked about it in State of 19. You can check out Small Town USA. That is at Small Town USA Show SHW.
Two great hosts of said show. We got to get into AEW, Brad. Oh my goodness. So we talked WWE. John Cena, by the way, I forgot to mention something about John Cena. I've had people hit me up who aren't even wrestling fans and are sending me John Cena retired headlines.
Yeah, I got that too.
Like the man I'm sure we'll talk about it in What Did We Miss, but the man's popularity is super transcendent. And luckily, fingers crossed, we get to see him for another year. And I'm sure it's going to be a topic of conversation on our show.
Tyler, I think the messaging was poor going out of this. I think that I guess the people that broke the news. The people that aggregated Money in the Bank on the internet said John Cena announces his retirement rather than John Cena announces his retirement tour for a year.
That's exactly what I responded to someone who hit me up with that. I was like, oh, they're so well-intentioned. I was like, my man, like, it's not a retire. The message was, it wasn't even an article for this specific example. It was John Cena retired. That was the message.
Yes.
And then I used your exact verbiage. I said, it's a retirement tour. My man, like, just want you to know. He announced it because he's going to get his flowers for the next year, as he should.
Yes.
Because he carried the company on his back for years.
Yeah. Give him the sting treatment. Give him the sting treatment.
Yes. Yeah. But like you said, the aggregating is super interesting. But the man's reach really impressed me this weekend. Because like I said, people were hitting me up who don't watch the weekly product, but saw the news. And like I said, we're definitely going to talk about Cena, I know, in the months to come.
Do you think they were shocked to see that the host of Shark Week is retiring?
I think they were very shocked.
That's the one. Yeah.
The host of crossover. We also heard about Shark Week on AEW programming this week, Brad. Huge week in All Elite Wrestling. Speaking of, you mentioned earlier the importance of weeks following pay-per-views for talent, for companies, so on and so forth. Great week for AEW fans. I thought they really delivered a compelling Dynamite following Forbidden Door. So here's what I want to ask you. I wonder if you know what I'm going to ask you. Mercedes Moné versus Britt Baker. I saw the segment. You saw it. Our audience saw it, or certainly heard about it. We're getting the dream match at All In. How are you feeling about Dr. Baker's return? And is August, I think it's August 25th, is August too soon for Mercedes to drop the TBS championship?
No. Britt's never had it. And Mercedes could go after the other one.
I'm sure she will.
Wouldn't hate that. Mercedes versus Tony Storm would be a good one. I don't think it's too soon.
Mariah May as well would be fun.
Oh yeah, running through all of them.
Yeah, there's so many great.
Have her hit Mina too. Like why not? Like why not? So I don't think it's too soon, but here's why I like her having the belt right now. I like her having the TBS title because it opens the door for other companies for her to have crossover events. It gives her that reason to wrestle somebody else outside of the company rather than just I want to. But she could afford to drop it because she's got a whole other one sitting right there. So that's why I'm like, I don't think it'll matter if she drops it in August. I think it'll be fine. What would be more compelling is, does she lose clean or does something else happen? Does Jamie Hayter make a return and cost her? Does Jamie Hayter cost Britt? Because we thought that was going to happen at some point, right? Like
for a long time.
Hayter, yeah. And then they just remained friends and then she got hurt. And I don't know that we ever got that payoff. I would love to see that. So going into Wembley, though, Yep. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I loved it. I'm so elated that this is actually happening, right? I think AEW does, and this maybe is a polarizing topic in the community, but AEW really, as of late, gets to these dream matches and these feuds. The main event of Forbidden Door, right? Will Ospreay and Swerve Strickland. We've been fantasy booking. Oh, it's going to happen in London, or that's going to happen. Name the date. They got to that right away because AEW has been spurned with injuries in the past, and that getting in the way of
in the present
potential good things in the present as well.
Yeah.
So I really love that they got to it right away. I'm so happy this feud is happening. I heard this said over the weekend. I think it's really true, Brad. This is poised to be the biggest women's match in AEW history. This is big time. I thought they nailed it on Wednesday with the segment building up the feud. I think the whole spectacle is going to live up to the hype. It's going to be a massive deal for the women's division. In terms of, is August going to be too soon? I really enjoy the work Mercedes has done with the TBS championship and being the face of TBS, and she has such crossover appeal, as you alluded to. I tend to think Mercedes beats Britt at All In. Maybe due to nefarious reasons, but as we record, I don't think Mercedes' run is going to end in London. I don't. Will it be too soon? No, I'd be fine with Britt winning, but I don't think we've seen the end of Mercedes as TBS champ by a long shot.
No, because the real match that we want to see there is Jamie and Mercedes, right? And if Jamie gets cleared by then or close to then and have her Jamie coming out at Wembley the way that Britt did at the end of Forbidden Door, or at the end of that match in Forbidden Door, I think would be,
because we didn't get Jamie Hayter last year at All In. We were heartbroken.
Yeah, it was right before then. She's been out for
a long time,
400 plus days now.
Wow. And she was ascending.
Yeah. I really
She's one of the most over acts on the roster.
I guess her injury is one of those ones that not everybody comes back from. And I'm really hoping that's not the case for her, because I think it's universal that she is beloved and everybody wants her back, because she's an incredible talent. And I didn't see her in early AEW before her first injury. So when she came back, I was like, whoever this person is going to be a megastar.
Oh, we have this documented. Yes. We have the receipts.
And then sure enough, like a year later, 6 months later, whatever it was, she's the champ.
The biggest thing in the division. And it was so organic as well.
Yeah.
Like that's what makes wrestling so special, is when you just have those organic rises to the top. And for Jamie Hayter, her charisma, her in-ring work, fans just gravitated toward it. Brad, you were early on it. Someone like me eventually came on and definitely hasn't left.
So speaking of organic relationships especially with crowds, Daniel Garcia was murdered this week by Maxwell Jacob Friedman. MJF is back as a full-blown asshole. And he came out with the scarf, blamed the fans for all of his problems, and we're off to the races with this return to form for one Maxwell. And we also got a return from one of your earliest tag team favorites, Tyler, the OG Jurassic Express. We got Marco Stunt back. How'd you feel hearing the music? First of all, it's not my question.
I loved it. I loved it. It made me so happy. And Marco played the role so well.
Oh, so good.
He came out in his home state in Mississippi, but he just that face he had of looking at Jack Perry. I thought he nailed the part. The lawn dart that we saw in the match. I watched all of Collision this time. I was very proud of myself. Yeah, man, I thought it was great. The open challenge was interesting. I didn't foresee Jack Perry to be an open challenge type of champion. I thought he'd be the guy who would avoid defending his title. But this made me so happy. It was great to see Marco back. And you're right. I have a lot of nostalgia for OG Jurassic Express.
So do I, man. They were so much fun.
So different, so fun.
Yeah. I hope for one day for a reunion, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. I think they're both on totally different paths now. And we got Christian Cage in the Patriarchy costing Switchblade, which is obviously going to set up that trios match. And it's going to be a ton of fun. But the question that I have for you is, we got Hangman Adam Page is back, Tyler. He's got new music. He's not a heel. He's not a babyface. He's just enraged. And I kind of love everything about this.
His graphic now is just him just PMV.
The way that, like, I thought after he killed Jeff Jarrett and went in the back and they were like, "Oh, the Bucks, we need somebody." And I thought for sure he was going to be like, "Let's go. I'm out for blood." And then just went after the Jacksons. Like, you used me and then suspended me. Get all the way out of here with your bullshit. Incredible. I am all in for this. No pun intended. But we're getting Hanger and Bryan for the final. Tyler, we already know what this is going to end up looking like. Their series is tied. I'm going to give you a couple options. And then I'll have my question, really. What's the best outcome here for Swerve and that match? Is it Bryan winning? Is it Hanger winning? Or is it another time limit draw triple threat at Wembley?
Wow. Okay. This is my time to answer. I was still processing this. I'm so happy Hangman is back. This match is should be amazing. The best outcome
for us. For us. For that sort of match.
For you and I'm not ready to see Swerve lose. I think him leaving All In with the belt would be a huge moment, a huge sign that the company really is backing him as the guy. I don't foresee Hangman winning this. I'm super intrigued with the new character. I love the presentation, the entrance, I don't know how you would.
I love it.
I defer to you for the tech stuff, Brad. The way they shoot it, it's kind of like a yellow filter, like very like spaghetti western.
Very, very similar to what his previous one was.
The dust, maybe a camera filter. It's all fantastic. I certainly want Hangman to get his revenge because, like Drew McIntyre, I don't think he's wrong here in his vengeance at all.
Yeah.
But I think the moment, and this is answering your question because I would love to see this. I think the moment we are going to get at All in London is Bryan Danielson becoming AEW champion. Speaking of GOAT figures who are retiring or putting a pause on their in-ring work, we know this is the last year as Bryan Danielson being a full-time wrestler. Mm-hmm. He is notorious for not wanting to win matches, which is part of why we have such an affinity for him as a fan base. But I think we're going to get that moment to leave London, Brad. I think the night ends, much like it did in New Orleans at WrestleMania all those years ago, with Bryan Danielson victorious, raising the belt, and fans just absolutely losing their minds for it. I would really love to see a long Swerve title reign, but August 25th, I think that's how it's going down. And frankly, I think that's an amazing outcome for fans. I'm going to roll with it. I would love to see a triple threat match because I want Hangman versus Swerve at All in London. But I also want to see Bryan Danielson become a champion for the first time in this company.
Tyler, here's how I think things are going to go down. This is my prediction.
I'm ready.
These are my long-term plans. Okay.
Long term.
Here we go. Okay.
Let's go.
Well, not long term to Wembley. I think Bryan Danielson beats Hangman this week. My guess is they're going to have Swerve out at commentary or something. Hangman's going to get distracted, and then Danielson's going to pin him in somehow. And then I think because of that, at Wembley, I think Swerve's probably going to have him on the ropes, literally. And then there's going to be some tomfoolery. Hangman showing up, and he's going to cost Swerve the match. And that'll be his way of both protecting Swerve, and we get that moment with Bryan Danielson becoming champ. And then Hangman and Swerve can continue their feud without the title on the line, because I don't know that it needs one, because it didn't coming up to it. It was just them hating each other, trying to get that chance, trying to get that spot. I think that story still has legs, and I don't know that the Bryan Danielson one does. And if this is his only chance at another title, winning the Owen and doing that, and he said, like, this is my last chance, this is the last shot I'm getting, then what else is he going to do if he's not going to have this title like, if you're a wrestler, what else is there? If you can't vie for championships, then why are you wrestling? So I think it has to go that way. And then he has his title defenses and either relinquishes the title as champion and retires because he's not full-time, or he loses to somebody else. Maybe somebody we're not thinking of right now, maybe a returning Miro or Keith Lee or something, or Malachi Black, please. Something. We'll see what happens.
I'm so excited. I had to mute myself. Yeah, I mean, that sounds absolutely amazing to me. You're right. I'm processing how similar the feuds are between Swerve and Hangman as compared to McIntyre and Punk in WWE. Yes. They're grudge matches. They don't need titles on the line. And Hangman, I don't even get the sense that he wants gold. I forget how he phrased it on Collision and on Dynamite.
He just wants to take it.
He wants to see Swerve's world burn.
Yes. Which was why Danielson winning would be fine.
Right.
Because he can still make that happen.
It would be taking everything from Swerve. Yeah. Both of these feuds are so good right now.
You mean the storytelling in AEW?
The storytelling in AEW. Yes, I do.
Just saying.
I cannot wait to see Dynamite in that match. I also can't wait for the return of the Bachelorette. Brad, you know what it's time for? Let's hit the music. It's a rose from me.
And now, for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
Season 21 of The Bachelorette is finally here. It's going to be historic. Brad, you know this. I previewed this, kind of pseudo-previewed this a couple weeks ago, but now this is your official preview. Jen Tran, the 26-year-old aspiring physician assistant from Miami, is the franchise's first Asian American lead. It's a really big deal. She's fantastic. She did not have the biggest personality of all of the women on Joey's season, but she was not involved in a lot of drama and just seems like a really cool person. So we, as Bachelor Nation, are really excited for her to step into the spotlight. You can check out my full preview on our website, gimmickinfringementpod.com right now. I give you more information about what you need to know before you tune in. We dive a little bit deeper into the 25 men that are vying for your heart. You may recall that I shared with you the only contestant from Arizona is Dakota. He's a 27-year-old sommelier from Paradise Valley. And he happened to make my Final Four.
That's really funny.
I'm not saying my Final Four have a very strong track record of being accurate, of actually making it to hometowns, Brad. But it's the four people that I am going to keep a close eye on this season. My final four are as follows. We got Dakota, my guy from Paradise Valley. We also got that algebra teacher that I mentioned to you. He's a former XFL player. Now he teaches algebra in Albany, New York. His name is Caleb. I need to know the pronunciation of his nickname. It's Moze, maybe Mose or Mose.
Mose. Yeah.
Mose sounds good to me.
Yeah.
I got Mose in my top four. My final two are Jonathan. He is from Florida, but Brad, the dude is very handsome. Like, I saw his bio and I was like, okay, I think the dude's just going to make the final four simply based off of his cheekbones and his smile. And then finally, Brett is coming in number 4 for me. I just want to hug this guy. He looks like a really good dude, and I hope he makes it far. I mentioned to you a couple weeks back that he kind of bucks the trend of contestants being these model-esque figures with 6-packs and X, Y, and Z. He really does look like the quote-unquote everyday man. Great smile. I'm sure he has lots of positive energy. We don't see a lot of him in the trailer for this season, but I'm really hoping that Brett makes it to hometown. So those are my 4. Again, full preview on the site right now. Let us know what you think at GI Pod 19. Who are you picking? What are you most anticipating? It's going to be a historic season, and I certainly hope Jen Tran finds love, Brett.
A sommelier from Paradise Valley is the most Paradise Valley job I could think of. If you ask me, that's so funny.
Dakota from Paradise Valley.
All right, Tyler, what did we miss?
So we missed a few items. Number 1, actually, this is my only. I'm going to give her my full attention here. Stephanie Vaquer.
Yep.
Reportedly, AEW and WWE want to sign her. She and Mercedes had one of my favorite matches of the year at Forbidden Door.
Same.
Brad, I've gone down the Stephanie Vaquer rabbit hole over the past week. I followed her on Instagram. I know we share this in common.
Yes.
I saw her interview with Denise Salcedo in Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
I am now motivated to learn Spanish again, thanks to Stephanie Vaquer. And I'm just so happy that she's getting her flowers. I was blown away with her performance. I'm excited to see more of her work. I know she's in CMLL currently, but that came across my timeline, and I just knew that was going to be my one. What did we miss this week? Big companies are showing interest, WWE, AEW. Wherever she ends up, I know she's going to kill it. She's fantastic, and I can't wait to see where her journey goes from here.
I completely agree. I think AEW right now would make more sense for her. I don't know if the language barrier is going to be a problem in WWE. It seems like they try to, like, I think about what what Julia was trying to do on her way in is like, oh, I got to learn English better to be in the WWE. You just have to be able to speak English in an English speaking product for the most part, or at least some communication that's effective. And in AEW, the schedule might be more open to her both living in Mexico if she wants to and working CMLL if that partnership keeps going. However, I want her to make as much money as possible and be showcased in the best way. And she would fit right in that NXT division and immediately go to the top. If she had more TV time, I'd say just send her to the main roster right now. But selfishly, I want to see her battle all the people that are in AEW, because there's just so many matches that I would like to see, including one with Penelope Ford. I don't know where she is. I hope she's okay. Hopefully it's not a serious thing or what, but I just miss seeing her on TV because we saw Kip get killed off screen, but we haven't seen Penelope in a long time. So one of the things, Joey Chestnut, Tyler, I don't know if you saw this.
You know I did. I was not expecting this. Please continue. I watched the contest this year.
I did not watch the contest. I did see part of the lemonade contest afterward where Bro Who Lost was just absolutely projectile vomiting lemonade 10 feet out of his mouth. That was not something I can ever unsee. It was awful. The winner this time, Patrick Bertoletti, took home the mustard yellow belt. He ate 58 hot dogs, Tyler, in 10 minutes. That is crazy. Joey Chestnut did 57 hot dogs in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
To have that man
Speaking
not
of
be on this,
goats, we got John Cena, we got Bryan Danielson, we got Joey Chestnut. These three are swimming in the same waters.
and Labor Day, we get to see Joey Chestnut versus Kobayashi, and
I didn't realize that's happening
on Netflix. Yes, because
get out of here on Netflix.
Both of them were basically banned by Nathan, so they're like, "F it, we'll have a bigger event. We'll have the two best ever go head to head." Kobayashi's coming out of retirement. Joey Chestnut. I think it's so strange. I think I can't watch eating contests because they make me feel violated. Just watching it is just so disgusting. And what an American event to have. But I can't believe the physical willpower of a person to down 57 in 5 minutes just to prove a point that he almost beat the guy that won the record this year, or won the title this year, that took him 10 minutes to eat one more than he did in 5. Just absolute madness in that respect.
It's total madness, man. You broke the news to me on that. I'm sure we're going to discuss the outcome of Chestnut versus Kobayashi. I can't believe that's going to be on Netflix. Okay, we're going to tune in. Speaking of tuning in, thank you all so much for tuning into this jam-packed episode. Last week, we had a lot of amazing feedback. This week, you're obviously still rocking with us, which means everything. So please know how appreciated you are. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did, and we'll see you next week. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.